Are you looking for peace of mind at your doorstep? Look no further. With the Blink Video Doorbell, your home's entrance is always within your control. Check out the link in the video description to learn more and get your Blink Video Doorbell on Amazon. Your home is in your hands.
Minister for Sport must be one of the most unenviable jobs in France right now. At the weekend, Amélie Oudéa-Castéra plunged into the murky waters of the Seine in an effort to persuade competitors that it would be safe to take part in the triathlon and open-water swimming events in the fast-approaching Paris Olympics. Despite a £1.1 billion cleanup operation, unsafe levels of E. coli were recently found in the river 3 weeks running, from late June and into July. Ms. Oudéa-Castéra, however, is looking on the bright side and has promised to keep swimming in the river throughout this week to show that all is well. "The water is depolluted, that's for sure," she told French radio. Let's hope, for the sake of her health, that she is right. For the time being, Seine waters are, just, within safe levels, but little else in the French capital augurs well for the Games, due to start in just over a week. Only 10 days or so ago, hooded and masked protesters were running through the city's streets, throwing flares, smashing property, and burning electric bicycles. Violence erupted following the second round of President Emmanuel Macron's ill-judged and ill-tempered snap elections in which a coalition headed by hard-left Jean-Luc Mélenchon successfully stopped Marine Le Pen's national rally from winning a majority. The street cleaners had barely finished clearing the smoldering ashes from the riots following the first round, which the hard-right national rally had won. Tear gas was used to disperse the crowd, and the historic Place de la République was left littered with piles of rubbish. Spent firework casings surrounded the bronze statue of Marianne, the symbol of the French Republic, who holds aloft an olive branch, the ancient gesture of peace. Demonstrations on such a scale have not been seen in Paris for years. And with the Olympics looming, the timing couldn't be worse. 100 years have passed since the city last hosted the Games, and organizers, who have lavished a reported £8 billion on preparations, are predicting an influx of 15 million visitors, with 8 million spectators tickets sold at the fastest rate in history. But for the 2.1 million who live here, discontent and public negativity about the Olympics is at an all-time high. A recent opinion poll found that 52% of Parisians were considering leaving the city for the summer, joining the mass exodus from what many have taken to calling l'enfer or hell. Given the lawless scenes that have unfolded here recently, one can hardly blame them. According to reports in French newspaper Le Monde, a combination of security fears, citywide construction work, and the looming risk of strikes, by unions including train drivers, nurses and police, has plunged Paris into chaos. As one recent editorial put it, far from having caught Olympic fever, the city is on the verge of having an Olympic-sized breakdown. Chief among residents' concerns is the terror threat, currently registered as high, meaning the risk of attacks is very likely during the Games. French intelligence agents have reportedly foiled a plot by would-be suicide bombers linked to an Afghanistan-based offshoot of ISIS, and several arrests have been made. In a city still scarred by the atrocities at the Bataclan concert hall in 2015, in which Islamic State terrorists killed 130 people, heavily armed police toting handguns and assault rifles have flooded the streets. The recent protests have only heightened locals' fears. During the opening ceremony on July 26, a Paris 2024 spokesperson says, there will be 45,000 state security personnel mobilized across central Paris. The center will be cordoned off by a ring of steel throughout the Games, which residents will only be able to pass by scanning QR codes on their smartphones. Everyone, without exception, will be subjected to rigorous anti-terror checks. With crowds swelling by the day, Paris is certainly vulnerable. But locals blame their controversial and outspoken mayoress, Anne Hidalgo, who has held the position since 2014, for making everyday life here even worse. On social media, the hashtag #Saccageparis, which translates as trashed Paris, has been trending, with commentators pointing out rubbish dumped in the streets, prolific drug use, and profane graffiti, all under her watch. Ms. Hidalgo, a Spanish-born socialist politician, is a divisive character.